guys, Lily Rose here, and today we're going to be talking about vocal myths. I have been a voice teacher for the past 8 years, and I have degrees in music, specifically focusing on classical flute and classical voice. I am currently studying ethnomusicology, and I have focused my work on vocal technique and performance. And I have done work that specifically focuses on vocal health and mental health in music. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first one that we're going to talk about is that you have to be born with a good voice. That's not true. Anyone can learn to sing better than they already do. If you have vocal inflection, so your voice goes higher and lower whenever you're speaking, so basically you're not monotone, and if you have the ability to pitch match, then you are able to learn to sing better than you already do. If you are not good at pitch matching, you can still learn to get better at pitch matching. I have worked with students who have had trouble pitch matching and gotten them to a much better level than they were at originally. The next myth is that throat lozenges and sprays will help to heal your vocal cords. The way that they work is they help to soothe the inflammation in your throat, and that is what makes you feel better. It doesn't actually do anything to the vocal cords itself. Ideally, what you should be doing is using throat lozenges and sprays and then going on vocal rest. Vocal rest is what heals your vocal cords. If you keep singing and speaking and yelling or whatever you're doing through whatever inflammation you have, colds, allergies, anything like that, if you keep stressing out your voice while taking throat lozenges or using throat sprays, you're just going to cause more problems. It's the same thing as if you hurt your knee and then you take ibuprofen or Tylenol and the pain goes away, but then you decide you're going to run. What you're doing is not getting rid of the problem, you're getting rid of the symptom, which is the pain, and then you make it worse than it already is. And so that causes even more problems in the long run. Next, we have warm teas with honey or with lemon or just tea in general, even water. The idea is that drinking these warm drinks will help to heal your vocal cords the same way that people think that lozenges and sprays will heal your vocal cords. Really, what's happening is it's just getting soothed, because when you're drinking them, it's not going to the vocal cords. It goes down a different section. It goes down the esophagus. The vocal cords are where the wind goes through, the air, not the food. So since they're never touching that area, they can't heal your vocal cords, but what they can do is soothe your throat and get rid of inflammation, the same way that throat lozenges and throat sprays do. Next, we have vocal surgery. A lot of people think that vocal surgery is the only way to fix vocal damage. It is not. If you have vocal polyps or vocal nodules, you're going to start noticing a difference in the way that you sound. At that point, you'll go see a doctor usually, or you'll try vocal rest on your own. A lot of times it will be fixed with vocal rest. If you go see a physician, the first thing they should do is tell you to go on vocal rest, because again, sometimes it can be fixed on its own. If it proceeds after vocal rest, that's when you should start talking about surgeries. But always try to fix it through vocal rest first. After that, we have vocal fry. A lot of people think that vocal fry is very bad for you. Vocal fry is the lowest register that we have. It's whenever your voice sounds something like this. That is a natural register that you have. Usually, your vocal fry can only be achieved whenever you are singing really, really relaxed. If you have a lot of strain, usually it's much more difficult to get that low. People who use vocal fry are often, when you see like a barbershop quartet and they have that really low bass that makes it feel like the room is shaking. That's a parlor trick. It's whenever they put the microphone really close to their face and they start doing that vocal fry, and that's what makes it feel like the room is shaking. Other people are people who scream. Vocal fry is a popular form of screaming in metal. Vocal fry is not bad for your voice, as long as you're doing it correctly. If you are straining with vocal fry, then that's bad. If you're speaking in vocal fry all the time like this, then that is also bad, because that's not where you're meant to speak. Speaking too low or too high for your voice on a regular, everyday basis is also really bad for your vocal health. Speaking in vocal fry for a long period of time like that can cause vocal damage in the long run, because your voice isn't meant to speak that low all the time. That's when it's bad for you. Singing with vocal fry is not a problem. Belting. Belting does not ruin your voice. A lot of people think that it does, and that is sometimes true if you are belting incorrectly. There is a proper way to learn how to belt, and people who are on Broadway belt all the time, and they're usually fine. Next is that you breathe from your diaphragm. This is a really common misconception because it's been used so long and repeated over and over again. You cannot purposely control your diaphragm. You have voluntary muscles and you have involuntary muscles. Your diaphragm is going to be an involuntary muscle, meaning that you do not have the ability to control it. Your arm, for example, is going to be a voluntary muscle because you can just reach over, grab something, and pick it up. Your heart, on the other hand, is an involuntary muscle because you cannot choose when your heart beats. There are also muscles that work both voluntarily and involuntarily. So think of when you blink. That's involuntary sometimes, other times it's voluntary because you can choose to blink. Just like you can choose to breathe, but you're never going to just stop breathing, hopefully, unless you have a medical issue. So your diaphragm sits below your lungs, and it is like a dome shape, and it moves down when you inhale and up when you exhale. The closest thing you can get to controlling your diaphragm would be you choose to take a breath. What people actually mean when they say to breathe from your diaphragm is to use the muscles located in the abdomen. If you would like more information on that, leave comments below and we'll go through that in another video. If it doesn't hurt, it's safe. This is not always true. The real statement would be, if it hurts, stop. Because it should never hurt when you're singing. If you're hurting, that means that you're straining or stressing out your vocal cords and that you probably are making inflammation happen and things like that. We want to avoid causing strain on your throat and vocal cords. So if it hurts, stop. But if it doesn't hurt, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's okay, because you can build up a tolerance to things. If I'm used to picking up heavy equipment all day long, it doesn't hurt me to pick up heavy equipment all day long, but there is still strain every time I pick up whatever it is. The same goes through your voice. You can get used to feeling a certain way and it no longer hurts to do so, or you no longer notice it, but that does not mean that it is now okay. Cold and hot drinks are bad for your voice. This one is not true technically, but in a sense it can be true. So it's not bad for the vocal cords specifically, which is what people usually mean. They think that it's passing through the vocal cords and that it's shocking the vocal cords and making it more difficult to sing. Again, it does not pass through the vocal cords. So what's actually happening is that when you are drinking something that is hot or is very cold, it will go through the esophagus. But that means that you do, in a sense, shock your esophagus. If you drink something that's extremely cold and your throat decides that it doesn't like it and it starts getting tighter, that is going to cause you to have difficulty singing. That does not necessarily mean that it has harmed the vocal cords, but it's not the optimal way to sing. The next myth we have is that dairy and honey are bad for your voice. Again, it's not going through the vocal cords, so it has no effect on the vocal cords itself. It is, again, the esophagus. Dairy and honey do coat your throat. So if you have any sort of inflammation or swelling, then you're not going to notice it with the honey or with the dairy, which means that you are more likely to cause yourself to have problems while singing because you're singing through any strain because you don't feel it. So they don't affect the vocal cords themselves, but they do affect the esophagus, which can in turn affect the vocal cords. Spicy foods. Spicy foods are believed to be bad for your vocal cords. They never pass through the vocal cords. However, they do pass through the esophagus. And that means that you're causing inflammation if the food is too spicy for you, or maybe it isn't too spicy for you and it can still get inflamed. That's the point of eating spicy foods, is that you feel that heat. So when your throat gets inflamed, again, you're going to feel difficulties when singing, and that can mean that you strain your voice more because you did eat them. So it doesn't necessarily affect your vocal cords itself. It affects your esophagus and has a chain reaction from there. The most common thing I've been told by students is, I've already warmed up earlier today, so I don't have to do warm-ups again. That is not true. You have to do warm-ups before you start singing, no matter how many times you've done warm-ups that day, and no matter how many times you have sung that day. If you are preparing for a performance and you have a rehearsal and you warm up and you start singing, but then you take a break. Let's say you take a 30-minute break to go and do whatever, get water, anything like that. If you are not singing during that 30 minutes, you have to do vocal warm-ups again before you start singing again. If you only take a 15-minute break, you don't have to do as much vocal warm-ups, but you still have to do vocal warm-ups. If it's been hours since the last time you sung that day, you definitely have to do vocal warm-ups again. The first time you sing that day, though, the vocal warm-ups are going to be much more in depth. There's going to be a lot more that you do because it's the first time that you're singing. Your vocal cords are slowly getting more sedentary and not used to singing as you're out and about doing things, living your daily life, but they still have been used at some point that day. So it's kind of like you're slowly getting cooled down from singing, the way that you would slowly get cooled down after you do sports. Cold weather is bad for your voice. I heard this one a lot when I was working on my associate's degree, and I would go to class with my throat wrapped up in a scarf, and I would have my tea with me, and I would be doing everything I could to keep my voice healthy for my voice lessons that day, or for choir, or whatever I was doing, any performances I had. And that was kind of unnecessary. Cold weather itself is not bad for your voice. It's kind of like hot weather. You just have to keep your body itself warm, and you have to make sure that you're hydrated and that you're eating healthy and things like that. As long as you're doing those things and you're not getting too cold because you're outside in shorts and a tank top and it's 30 degrees outside, you'll be fine. Clearing your throat is bad for your vocal cords. This is something that I wrote about recently. I had a class during my master's degree program that the teacher had given us some reading to do, and one of the claims in the book was that you had to make sure that you're not coughing and make sure that you're not clearing your throat, because that's bad for your vocal cords and causes strain, and you can cause vocal damage that way. I can't remember which website it was, but I went and I found sites to prove my point. And I think it was the Mayo Clinic that I used as my reference for this. But clearing your throat is not going to cause vocal damage unless you have a chronic condition and you're clearing your throat all day long every day. People that may be affected by clearing their throats constantly are people who are suffering from severe allergies, people who are smoking or any sort of condition where they might be coughing a lot, that's when you're going to have to worry about vocal damage. Clearing your throat once because you just feel like you have a frog in your throat or something like that is not going to cause vocal damage. Your voice is very resilient. It can get over you screaming, it can get over misuse, it can get over coughing and everything like that. If it could not, then everyone would be walking around with vocal damage because we are constantly getting scared and yelling. We're constantly going to the amusement park and riding rides and screaming on the rides. We're getting scared at movie theaters and at video games and screaming there. We're clearing our throat when we're speaking. We're coughing because we're sick. But everybody's not walking around with vocal damage because your voice can handle it. Steaming your voice is good. Well, it's not bad. Steaming your voice is just when you're inhaling a lot of steam. So people can do this by using a steamer, they can use a humidifier, they can boil some water, take it off the stove and put a towel over their head and just inhale it. A lot of people tend to do that when they're sick. Other things you can do are singing in the shower because there's steam in the shower. The reason that this works is because it is water and your voice needs to be hydrated in order for you to sing at your best. So yes, if you are dehydrated and your vocal cords get dehydrated, the steam is going to help. However, you could also just drink water. The next myth is that singing through colds and allergies is a good thing. No. Inflammation is bad, okay? Singing through inflammation can cause problems with your vocal cords because then your vocal cords start having an issue because you're straining your voice. On the other hand, if you have allergies and it's just a stuffy nose and you have no inflammation, or you're just feeling, a little under the weather, nothing's wrong with your throat, it's just like all sinuses, then it's not bad for you and can help you. So this is kind of a two-way street. Don't sing if you have inflammation in your vocal cords, in your throat, anything like that. If it's just sinus issues, you should be fine. Singing with sinus issues can help you with placement. So getting more forward, getting more up in this area whenever you're singing higher, getting more in the mask of your face for mixed voice, things like that. It can help you feel those locations easier and know that you're doing it correctly, which can help you in the long run. If you'd like more information on singing in mixed voice in the mask of your face and up in the head area, leave that in the comments and we'll do a video on that as well. The last myth on our list is that practice makes perfect. No, practice makes permanent. If you are practicing with bad technique, you make the bad technique permanent, not perfect. If you are practicing and really thinking about what you're doing and you're paying attention to how things feel, how things sound, and you've worked with an expert on different techniques and things like that, then practice helps solidify the things that you learn, which again can make it permanent. If it's perfect practice, then it makes it perfect. If it's bad technique, then you make the bad technique permanent. That is the last of our myths that we have today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Click subscribe and like, hit the notifications tab and leave comments down below. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye! I ran out of things to talk about. I'm trying to think of what my intro was so that way I know how to start this part. That way I can clip it and put it in the front. Yeah. Oh God.
What?
I've been teaching for 8 years.
You get it?
I feel so old. I do. I feel old. Okay. I have been. Ooh, I have. Girl.
And don't forget, you can do your own blooper reels.
I am also going to do that. Bless you.
Sorry, y'all. Because, buddy, I think some of these are going to be funny. I want my sneeze included.
Oh, I'm including the sneeze. You're getting the sneeze in
I
there.
put a voiceover, and this is when my friend decided to sneeze.
I'll put a tag in there at the top. XMaxMoon. Sneeze provided by XMaxMoon.
I like that. That'd be funny.
I'm going to do that. Sneeze provided by XMaxMoon. She's over there. That's going in the bloopers too.
Hello.
Hey! Okay, back to me. Woohoo!
You're gonna cut that, bro. You're gonna cut so hard on this video. I know. Like, this is gonna be some nightmare fuel for you for a couple days.
And action. Cut.
Bro. You're a nightmare.
Okay.
They can't do this.
They can't? Okay. Can they hear you?
I don't know, maybe.
They might not even hear you sneeze.
I don't know. I know it's supposed to eliminate background noise, but I don't know how.
You are background noise. You realize that, right? Because the mic's on me, that makes you background noise.
I know that.
Okay.
Look, see? Chunky.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to this now.
What?
I can't remember what I focus on.
Oh.
I'm on the spot, I can't remember. Words. Yeah.
That happens. You'll have a couple where you'll like pause, give yourself enough time to cook, and then you'll.
Yeah. What you're looking at is, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to explain.
It gets slow. Don't rush yourself.
I'm nervous.
Don't be.
It's easier when you're on the camera with me. People aren't looking directly at my face.
Just feel it.
So if you have vocal polyps or vocal nodules or anything like that, you're going to start noticing a difference in the way that you sound. I'm gonna redo that. I forgot what I was saying. When they say to breathe from your diaphragm is to use the muscle in your abdomen. Muscles. Lord have mercy. Your esophagus. Why am I so bad at speaking?
Do better, bro.
It's my first video alone. The most common thing that I've heard from students is that if I've already warmed up today. Are you laughing at me tripping over my words?
No, I feel it. I feel the same way every time I record my own stuff. Makes me like hate myself. It's torture, man.
It is really hard. It'd be easier if like you were sitting behind the camera and like, here's the other myth, and then I could just answer the question to you. Which I've seen people do that, and that must be really nice. We're gonna try that later. Because I feel like I'm just talking to myself, which makes me feel completely insane. Back to this. Where was I? Steaming. We have 2 left. Woohoo! Okay.